Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all of your response and feedback from my last video. It's really just, encouraging to know that at least some of you agree with me, but also just kind of like accept that this is a natural progression for me to move into a more low impact movement and lifestyle. So to kind of get this going, I wanted to do a DIY period pads video because a lot of you out there, you don't have the money to buy fancy period pads all the time and all these like fancy zero waste kind of like items. So I thought, let's go back to real basics and let's try and make stuff ourselves from stuff that we already have. And as you know, I'm doing a no spend year and I really need some more period pads. So instead of going out and buying some, I am going to be making some with you guys today. Now, this is the first time that I'm making them, so it's a little bit experimental, but I've done a lot of research into making sure that it's gonna be a good one. Anyway, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it and comment in the section below, especially if you have any kind of tips for making your own stuff as well, because I want this to be much more of a focus on your own stuff and kind of like free low impact swaps and stuff like that, so that it's more accessible for everyone. So let's just get started. Some of the things that you're going to need are, you're going to need some thread. I'm using a black one, or you could use any color depending on the material that you have. I'm going to be using a thread, some pin, a pair of scissors, a pencil, or you can use a pen, it's completely up to you. I'm going to be using an old tea towel for the inside, the kind of like absorbent part, but you can use any kind of towel or any kind of flannel. Just make sure if you use a flannel that you use 3 strips in the middle, and if you're using a towel you can just use 2, but this is for like a medium flow, so if you have like a heavy flow you're going to need probably to put a few more layers in there. And then I'm just using an old t-shirt that I was gonna get rid of, or try and recycle because I probably can't donate it, but instead I'm just gonna transform it into a pad. So yeah, that's everything that I have, so I'm just gonna, I guess, get started. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is get a piece of paper, and I've measured this to be 25 centimeters long because that is just what works for me. So you might need to change it up a bit depending on what fits you. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this into a square because this will make it easier to kind of build our template. Now if you can, use a scrap piece of paper. This is just a receipt from Google. So I'm just reusing that because I don't really have anything else to use. Once you've filled that up into a corner, then you're gonna have it so that it opens up to the right, or to the left rather, so that when we open it up, it will be our template. So it makes it easier to do that. Then what you're gonna need to do is to get a pencil or a pen and draw your template. So I want mine to be a kind of traditional shape. So I'm just going to draw round, just like this, just to make sure it's nice and round and kind of wings out, so we can get some nice wings to kind of... Then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut out your shape. So you're just going to cut around your template. This template is what's going to be kind of how you cut out your material from the material that you're using, so that you get a nice uniform shape. So just put that to the side. Now we've got our shape. If you unfold it, this is now our template for what the pad is going to actually look like, and that makes it easy because then it's nice and symmetrical, and it makes it so much easier for when you actually cut it out on your piece of fabric. I'm just going to round off these edges just a little bit more so that they're less kind of square, like that. And then just the same on the other side. You don't have to do this, this is just a preference of my own. Now this is going to be just like a really rough period pad, but it's going to work, really well, especially if you have a kind of like light to medium flow. You just need to make sure that you've got enough toweling. Right, now that we have this, I'm going to take my t-shirt and lie it down. So this is what I have. It's going to be slightly harder because it's a stretchy material. So if you don't have a stretchy material, that is definitely going to be a lot easier. Okay, so I've just cut it up into just a bit more of a manageable sort of chunk. And now if I turn it around so it's the inside, I'm going to lay our template over the top, and then I'm just going to draw around it with my pencil so that I have a nice guideline for when I'm cutting it out. A pen would probably be easier, to be honest. So once you've done that and you've got your outline, it's going to be really faint if you do use a pencil. Then I'm just going to do it again further up so that I've got two sides for my period pants. Now once you've done that, all you're going to do is just cut those templates out. So once you've cut them out, they should look a bit like this. You've got the wings and the top bit, and they should be nice and matched up. Don't worry if they're not completely matched up. When we sew them up, it's not a problem. So the first thing we're going to do is put one of these to the side, and then we're going to be attaching the inside to the one piece of the pad. So as I said, I'm just using an old tea towel that obviously I've washed, and it's one that it's an old one that we don't really want to use anymore, but we didn't want to throw it away. And I'm using 2 so that it's nice and absorbent, and I'm just going to match it up to the length. And as you can see, it's a bit too long, so I'm just going to take a bit off the top and just a bit off the bottom and just round them out just a little bit. Once you've done that, just kind of match them up again and see if they fit. Yep, now they fit kind of nicely in the middle. I'm going to pin down the bottom bit and the top bit so they stay in place as I'm sewing all around these edges. So I'm just going to get some of these pins, and I'm just going to use these to pin down the sides. So now you've pinned those in place, we're going to sew around all of the outside to make sure these are all attached to this before we put the top on. I'm going to use some white thread instead of black thread because obviously this material is white and we don't want it to show up as much. So the first thing you're going to do is get a really long piece of string, really long, and then cut it here. And then you're going to need to thread it through your needle. Like that. Once you've successfully sewed all around the outside, it's time now to put on the other side. But because we're going to be sewing it and then flipping it inside out, you don't want to put it on like this. You want to turn this over so that you're sewing onto the back of it. And then you're also covering up this stitch that goes down the back of it. So you then want to line it up just like you did with the inside. Like this, and then just to make sure absolutely that you're going to be going around the outside, I'm just going to be using some more pins to go around the outside to fix it in place, and then we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to do a running stitch all along the outside. Now you can take your time and be really careful about it, or no one's going to see them but you, so you can just go through, and then what we'll end up doing is turning it inside out so that you don't see that stitch anyway. But what you must do is leave a little bit of this open so that you can turn it inside out from there. So we'll pin from here and here all around, but leaving this bit open and a little bit more so that we can flip it inside out once we're done. So I've gone round and I've just put the pins in all along the edges, and now I'm just going to start at the top and I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way around. This is just to make it easier. It's not going to be particularly neat, as I said, but if you have a sewing machine, obviously that's going to be much better. But this is just for, if you don't have a sewing machine or the money to buy one. So this is just a nice, quick, easy way. So I'm just going to start at the top and I'm just going to go around. I've got quite a long piece of string because I don't want to have to kind of change again, but you can do it in different parts if you don't want to have to keep going, It's quite a lot harder doing it with a long piece of string, but it's completely up to you. And as you can see, I've kind of tied this bit in here to kind of lock it in place. Now you got to the end and you've sewn all the way around, and I just left a little bit extra so that once I kind of like knotted it, it wouldn't come apart. And now you've got this kind of bit open here, so we're just going to turn it inside out, and you can use your scissors to kind of point out the bits just in case you need it. But yeah, just going to quickly turn this inside out. So when I say you can use your scissors, you can get them and just put them through this, the hole, and just kind of like poke out the bits here, just to make sure they fully extend. And then the last thing that we need to do is we just need to sew up this little bit here. So I'm going to go back with my needle and thread, and I'm just going to do a running stitch around this outside here. And once you've just done a little knot, then just cut it off. So this is the kind of final product that you're left with. It seems quite neat if you do kind of like the thin running stitch all around the edge. And then this is the bit that's going to be, you know, the least neat because it's got the bit that you had to stitch over the top. But all in all, it's quite a nice, neat little thing. You do have this running stitch down here from the inside, but if you use the right kind of thread, then you're not going to have a problem at all. So yeah, the last thing you'll need to do is just to add some buttons on to this side and this side so you can clip it around your pants. But apart from that, that's it. Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed watching that. This is what the end result looks like. And then when it folds around, that's kind of what it looks like. It's super soft. If you use nice material, you know, that's soft, then it's going to be completely fine and it's going to be quite absorbent. I definitely would say if you are going to make these yourself, I would 100% try it out before you sort of go outside with it or anything like that. But yeah, I'm going to try this out and I'm pretty happy with this because it turned out pretty well and it's nice and it's quite neat. Anyway, if you like this video and you want to see more DIYs like this, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below what kind of DIYs you do want to see. I definitely want to do a lot more on this channel, so it's more about kind of repurposing and reusing what we already have. Yeah, but that's about it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about any of this kind of stuff, please, again, any of the technical stuff, leave it down below. But seriously, it is quite simple. If you have, obviously, you know, if you don't have good mobility in your fingers or your hands, you might need to get someone to help you out with it. But it should, if you just take your time, then it's not too tricky to do. So I definitely encourage at least giving it a try because it's free. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.